MERLIN Mentors is a organized mentoring process that was set up based on a model done at MIT. It's serial entrepreneurs, people who have been there, done that, working on a volunteer basis to help entrepreneurs who are just starting out. So the whole idea is the business of getting a company started is a fairly complex and somewhat challenging process, and having as much advice from people who have been through the process at the front end is a great way to get started. So that's what MERLIN tries to do, is basically pull those kinds of experienced people together in a way where they can work on a hands-on basis with emerging entrepreneurs. Well, obviously MIT is one of our peer institutions. It's a huge reputation, and in a lot of ways very similar to UW-Madison, and there's a very strong research institution, a lot of work in the area of building commercialization of technology. So it was a natural to look at MIT. In looking around, we learned that there was a very successful mentoring program at MIT. It was called Venture Mentoring Service. Had been in operation for about 7 years at the time we first started talking with them. So we were very intrigued, especially given that MIT has the reputation of having venture capital people walk the halls, having such a strong reputation on getting companies started. We were a little bit surprised to learn they thought it was still important enough in that context to help entrepreneurs with business connections. We work with anybody either inside the UW-Madison, outside the UW-Madison, in the immediate community. It's open to entrepreneurs who don't know really much about the university at all, but have an interesting idea. Mentoring is a face-to-face process. We don't have a boundary per se, but at the same time it's very difficult to come from Green Bay or to come from Milwaukee on a regular basis for mentoring meetings. We built enthusiasm for this in several different ways. We worked, obviously the key players, WARF, the Research Park, and Office of Corporate Relations were the core entities that really carried the ball and got this thing going, but we also presented the concept early on to several of the deans. We presented it to some of the other entrepreneurs around town. Obviously, if this was going to work, we were going to need entrepreneurs. So we talked with a lot of the successful CEOs who had started companies. Invariably, they all thought it was a great idea. That being said, it still took a couple of years for us to move from the very first meeting to the point where we actually got the traction to go ahead. But it really had to come from the mentors themselves. Well, we find actually mentors seem to want to give back. They feel like they've been fortunate to build the companies they have, and part of the reason most any of the entrepreneurs that have done well here have succeeded has been the networks, the ecosystem, if you will, of support. And I think when we approach the mentor, the serial entrepreneurs about being a mentor, it resonated very much with them that this was a way they could actually help another earlier stage entrepreneur get through some of the same tribulations and challenges. This is a way for them to establish and expand their own networks of people who are like them. We are trying to develop the quality of our entrepreneurs, the quality of the new ventures that get started. So in effect, this is an educational program. It's about educating entrepreneurs about better ways to get companies going, and we educate them through these experienced mentors that have that experience. Developing our management talent was a key need, and this program is a nice way to build on that management talent, to pull together the management talent that we really didn't realize we had. Well, I think our experience with this really shows the value of bringing new ideas in and adapting them. I think the very essence of the Wisconsin idea is that the borders of the university are the borders of the state or the borders of the world, and I think we embrace that when we look around and say, okay, if they're doing so well at MIT, how did they do that, and what can we do here? I just would say that this has been a great experience for us working with the other parts of the university. So it's got the ties to the university, but at the same time, it's got some independence from the university, and I think that makes it a much more robust and viable organization.